everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're a new subscriber, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning back in. Okay, so today we have a highly requested video. When I say highly requested, I mean like 3 people asked me, but that's still highly requested for right now. So today we're talking about my birth story first, second experiences, and how my labor and delivery went with the both of them. So yeah, so I have a 1.5-year-old and then a 2-month-old now, and they both were born. My first son was born in February 20th of 2020, and my second son was born August 13th of 2021. So we are still in the pandemic. Both kids, well, little Devin was born right before the pandemic hit, and then so the experiences were different for both of them that way, as well as I also went to 2 different hospitals this time. So the experience was also different that way. So with little Dev, he was my first son, didn't know what to expect. I did have a doula, and her name is Bria. She worked at Sister Web in San Francisco, and if you have the opportunity and you live in San Francisco, I definitely would recommend getting a doula. Don't mind my lashes if they look crazy right now. But yeah, so I had a doula for my first baby, and he was born at UCSF, like I said. I went to my 36-week appointment and went through the whole appointment, did everything, you know, like a normal appointment. And then at the end, my doctor pulls us to the side and she's like, hey, let's just sit down. Let's just do your blood pressure one more time. So I'm like, okay, sure, like, no problem. I'm not thinking anything of it. Devin's not thinking anything of it. And so they take my blood pressure, and then they take it again, and then one more time. And nothing changed. And so I don't know what those numbers mean, really, like for blood pressure. I don't know what top over bottom, what's supposed to be higher or lower or whatever. So the doctor tells me like, hey, your blood pressure is pretty high. So we're going to go ahead and send you to the hospital. And we may have a baby tonight or in a few days, because you might be induced. But we'll just go over to the hospital. You'll be monitored for a few hours, and we'll just see if it goes down or anything like that. We're freaked out at that point. Like, Big Devin is ready to call everybody. He's calling his mom, my mom, our parent, like everybody, our siblings. The baby's coming tonight is what he's telling everybody. But I'm telling him like, no, like, let's just wait. But he's already on the phone with them and ready and telling everybody. Everybody's freaked out and excited and like, what? Because the baby's coming so early. And so we go to the hospital straight from the doctor's appointment. So it's probably like a 10-15 minute drive to the hospital. And we were sitting in there. We got monitored for 4 hours. Our doula Bria came and sat with us, which was really nice. She kept us calm most of the time because we were freaked out at that point, obviously, that you think you're going in for a regular doctor's appointment and then you're having a baby today. So then once we were done, so we were in triage for about 3.5-4 hours, and they just had the monitor on me, and we were just chilling, literally. It was just Devin and I, and then Bria. And then they finally told us like, yep, we're going to go ahead and induce you. Your blood pressure is staying consistently high, and that's a risk for yourself and the baby. So we're going to go ahead and induce you today, start the induction process. So we go ahead and we have no bags. We have nothing. Nothing. That's why my, if you guys watched my What's in My Hospital bag for my second baby, we were prepared and we knew what we wanted, and we had it done early because of this situation. But anyways, I'll leave that in the description box below. But yeah, so we were sent to another room, so like a birthing room, I guess you call it, delivery room, and they started me on Pitocin and also a pill called, I think it was like misoprostol, something like that. If you're, leave it in the comments below if you know the exact name, but it's basically a pill. She wants to be in the video so bad. But basically it's just a pill that they give you, and it starts like dilating your cervix or thinning your cervix or something like that. So I started off with that. I didn't feel anything. And they gave me, I think like 2 doses of that. And then they also put a Foley balloon in. And so the Foley balloon was uncomfortable. It basically is just a balloon in there that is trying to help you dilate. And that was uncomfortable, but it wasn't too bad. What really upped the pain for me was kept upping my Pitocin. The Foley balloon came out about like 4 centimeters, which is pretty much what its job's supposed to do, I'm pretty sure. So it came out at 4 centimeters, and then they kept upping the Pitocin, and that's when the pain kicked in. But let me tell you, so I was, it was, I guess, a Monday, I think, that we went in for our doctor's appointment, and then also went into the hospital. We went for 4 hours of monitoring. So by this time, like by the time the pain started kicking in, our families had both been there, just to like hang out and see us. They were told that nothing was going to happen those first like day or two, just because, it's just a process, especially for the first labor. So our family had both been there. We've been awake for at least 48 hours before the pain kicked in. Everybody told us like, go take a sleep, go to sleep and have some rest, because you're really going to need it like during the labor process with woo. We didn't believe them, or it's not that we didn't believe them. We just had so much adrenaline and like excitement that the baby was coming. Like, this is our first baby, and we didn't listen. So we were so exhausted. When I tell you I was exhausted, we were walking around the hospital and Devin was walking me. I was falling asleep in his arms, and he was like carrying me back to the room, because I was so tired. My body was so tired. I couldn't do it anymore. Like, the pain wasn't that bad. It was bad. Like, it did hurt for sure, but it was the exhaustion. Your body feels so exhausted going through labor in itself. So me not sleeping for 48 hours before that, before the labor started, was just like too much for my body to handle. So at that point, I asked for epidural. So they give you like options of like what pain relief you want to use with woo. I wanted something that could help me sleep. I just wanted to go to sleep and let that be that. And so I got the epidural. The epidural, it took maybe like 20 minutes for the anesthesiologist to come in, which was lucky, because sometimes they're in like C-sections and you have to wait till they're done. Luckily, he came in like 20 minutes, and I sat on the edge of the bed, and they poked my back. It wasn't too bad. It gave me like a shocking pain down like one side of my leg, but after that, it was nothing else. And when that epidural kicked in, baby, I'm getting an epidural every single time. Like, now what you choose for your birth experience is what you choose, but I'm letting you know now, if you're wondering, get that epidural every time. I'll never go back. Like, the epidural did it for me, really. I was able to sleep as soon as it kicked in. I think it took like 45 minutes for the epidural to actually kick in, and I was numb. Like, my legs, I couldn't move them. Every time they came and checked me, they asked me like, oh, like, open your legs, but they just opened everything, because I couldn't do it. Like, I couldn't move, I couldn't feel anything, which was fine and dandy with me. I was able to sleep so well. And the only thing with the epidural, which was a little scary, is the baby's heart rate did like fluctuate a lot. And so I had to keep going from side to side throughout the night. So they come and wake me up and, oh, you need to go to this side or this side. Let's try and get you on your back or whatever to stabilize the baby's heart rate, which was a little bit scary, because I mean, I just trying not to harm the baby at all, like, or myself. So with the heart rate fluctuating, that was like the worst part of that part. But other than that, the epidural was great, and it didn't wear off or anything. I knew what to expect, because like I said, I did have a doula, and she explained all the different kinds to us. We also went to a birthing class, which was great, and they explained all the different forms of pain management and stuff like that. So yeah, I didn't have to worry about that. So then at about 11:50ish or 11:45 on the 19th of February. Both of our families came back. We had told them like it's getting closer. I kept dilating, and so they came back, and it was like 11:45, 11:50, and the doctor comes in, checks me, and she's like, "Oh, like we're having a baby. Like let's go ahead and get going." And the crazy thing is, somebody in the back, I don't know who it was, but I don't know if it was a nurse or something, but the person said, shouldn't we wait for the doctor? I'm thinking like, isn't she the doctor? Like she's telling us like she's ready to go. Like she's getting dressed, everything, putting the gloves on. And the lady goes, "I am a doctor." And she's a Black lady. So I was like, yeah, like go ahead. So I'm guessing she was a resident. I think that's why like the other lady was like, "Oh, let's like, shouldn't we wait for like a real doctor or something like that?" I was like, don't do that. But so we were fine with it. Like she had been taking care of us the whole night. She was ready to go. And she's getting dressed, getting me, like the nurses are getting the station ready and everything. And we were so excited. Like we just were ready to go. I didn't know what I was doing, but like I said, I was prepared of like how to push based on, my classes and talks with my doula and stuff like that. So I went ahead and they said, start pushing, and I pushed, and, we started pushing at 11:57, and little Devin was born at 12:06 on February 20th, 2020. It was 3 pushes, and when I tell you, like, I didn't feel anything still. Like, the epidural really did it. Like, I'm telling you, I didn't feel anything the entire time. Like, I felt a little bit of pressure, but it wasn't, like, bad. And, yeah, so the baby, they asked me, like, "Oh, do you want to pull the baby out the rest of the way?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Like, of course." So I helped, like, pull him out, and I came straight on my chest. He started crying right away, and then, yeah, like the rest was history. He was here. He's been living it up ever since. Now he's 1.5 and running all over the house. Such a blessing. But that first experience was at UCSF in San Francisco. Best doctors, nurses, doulas, support system that we had. So that was a really great experience. I didn't have any trouble at all before, during, or after. So it was great. Like I have nothing bad really to say about it. I guess I have one of those like positive birth stories. Actually both of my kids were positive birth stories, but it's definitely a blessing. I'm so thankful that that first time around was, everything that I'd hoped it would be. And that it was just so quick and easy. Like we weren't expecting, like I didn't want to be induced, or like I didn't, want things to just be so rushed that way, because we didn't have anything in place. But it was perfect. Like everything was meant to be. And we ended up with a healthy baby. I was healthy. And yeah, actually when little Devin came out, so I did skin to skin, and then Big Dev did skin to skin, and our families came in at that time. Like they were already at the door. When they were trying to, like, the doctors and stuff were trying to clean up and everything, they were at the door trying to bust in, like, looking through the hole and everything. Like, they were right there, ready and excited. But when they came in, me and Devin didn't even realize this till later when they had told us, but Devin didn't even let them hold the baby. They had been waiting there all night. And we were just so excited, like, and so in love. Devin was doing skin to skin, and all the pictures I'm looking at on my phone, I'm like, we didn't even let them hold the baby the first night. So they waited till the next day and held little Dev. The next day, everybody was just so in love with him. All our closest friends and family came and showed up and showed out for little Dev. Like we stayed there in the hospital, I think for, I think it was like 4 days in total. And they had the best food. They would come, like it wasn't like just amazing food, but compared to my next experience, it was amazing food for sure. They came and they gave us all food, like Devin food. They gave him blankets, pillows, like anything we wanted We got the hospital ice. It's everything, I'm telling you. But yeah, they just treated us so well from start to finish. And I wish I could have had every baby at UCSF at Mission Bay, because it was just a great experience. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything from labor and delivery for little Dev. It's not like the super scary, horrific, the crazy birth story. It's definitely one that was memorable and one that it was just a great time. So for Deshaun, which is my second baby, who's now 2 months old, things were a little different. We had to switch hospitals. We couldn't have a doula. Well, we could have had a doula, but if I were going to have a doula, I wanted the same doula. So I just like would message Bria if I had a question. She just let me know, like, you can ask me anytime, anything, which was fine for me. I pretty much knew what was going to happen and everything like that. So I felt pretty comfortable going into it. We did have this baby at Kaiser, and I will say the doctors were great. They were really nice, and the nurses were great. They treated us well. It's just the hospital itself didn't treat Devin the same way that like UCSF did with like the blankets and the food and the this and the that. So basically on August 12th, I woke up with like swelling on my face, swelling on my hands, and swelling on my feet. And I knew that those were signs of like my blood pressure rising from the first experience. So I was getting darker. I'm trying to beat the sun, but I don't think it's working. But yeah, so I had known that those were symptoms of like my blood pressure being high. And my blood pressure had been fine throughout the whole pregnancy. So I'm just like, okay, let's just wait throughout the day and like see if it goes down. It didn't go down. So I just called the advice nurse like, hey, this is what I'm having symptoms of. And is there something that you guys want me to do? I just want to keep the baby as safe as possible. And they basically said, like, you need to come in. Let's just check you out and see if we need to induce you, or let's just see what's going on. Make sure the baby's healthy and safe. So I came in, and I was monitored for about an hour, and it was consistently high again. So they decided to let us, to induce us again for the second time. So I knew what the process was going to be like, and I wasn't scared at all. I just was excited to get the baby here. I wanted Deshaun to be here. I felt like this pregnancy flew by, but then like the labor, like getting him here the last month was like, oh, come on. Because his due date was the 14th. So I was like, it was already time for him to come out anyway. So he just was letting us know, like, let's go. I'm ready to see y'all. So I called Devin, and my mom was already at the house. So she watched little Devin. My sister came up and watched little Devin with my mom. And Big Devin was able to come to the hospital. He brought our hospital bag and everything. I told you everything was packed this time. And so he came to the hospital. He was like, what? Like, we're having a baby? Like, he acted the same way that he acted with the first baby. I think just because, like, it just shocks you. Like, you're having a baby today, and it is what it is. Like, that's basically what I, like, called to tell him. That's what the doctor said. That's how she said it to me. So I didn't know any other way to say it. And, yeah, so he came and had everything ready. They did tell us this time, because this time was COVID's protocols. So we only were allowed to have like one person come in, and that person had to stay in the hospital at all times. So if you couldn't leave and go get any food, you couldn't leave the premises for any reason. Once you're in, not even to go back out to your car. So we really needed to make sure that we had everything, which luckily we did. So he came, and we watched some TV. It was like nighttime by that time. So we watched some TV. This TV was a lot smaller than the one at USCSF, I will say. And you couldn't like watch movies on it. So we didn't have our laptop this time. So I wish we would have brought our laptop, like I said, in the hospital bag, to be able to watch movies and stuff like that. But yeah, we just were chilling on our phone. He had brought us Wendy's that night, and we ate so good. Like, we had fries, I had chili, I had dessert, I had a milkshake, I had a bacon burger. Like, we were living it up, eating all that food. Like, it was ridiculous. I don't think we even finished it all, but I just was happy to have it because I had already tasted the hospital food. They had brought me, like, it was like dinner time. They had brought me dinner. Disgusting. I'm sorry, but it was so nasty. Nothing was seasoned. Like, they didn't even have options. At UCSF, I had like a menu and you got to choose like what you wanted to eat and stuff like that. At this one, they just came and brought you like a chicken salad sandwich, but like it wasn't seasoned or anything like that. Like, I don't know. It just wasn't good. And then they don't even offer this. They don't give the spouse food. They said, oh, you can go down to the cafeteria. The cafeteria closed at a certain time, so like he couldn't even get food. Luckily, he had brought the Wendy's because he couldn't get food even if he wanted to, like if he was hungry, and he couldn't leave the premises. So that first night was a little rough, and then the second day, like I said, they weren't bringing him food. The cafeteria food is the same food as this, so he's not gonna pay for the same nasty food. So luckily, they do allow you to like DoorDash or some delivery service, but since my mom and sister were watching Little Dev, they're only 10 minutes away. They went ahead and brought him like a Philly cheesesteak sandwich and fries and stuff. So that was definitely a blessing. Shout out to them for doing that. But they were able to bring that, and they brought me like a milkshake. And speaking of like, so I was being induced all at this time, but I'm not feeling anything. I really didn't feel any pain at all. I was given the misoprostol again, which is just a pill. This time I didn't have to do the Foley balloon. They say like the second delivery, your body knows what to do. So mine just started working and doing what it needed to do. And I was having some contractions, but it wasn't too bad. The thing was that my blood pressure was staying consistently high. So they just were monitoring me often, coming in and out. But then like my blood pressure like stabilized out. So they weren't coming. They stopped like coming as often. Stuck at like maybe a 6, and then at that time I started feeling the pain a lot. It just was like back to back to back to back to back. There was no breathing time, like, and it just came on all of a sudden. Like, it just was like boom, 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 and you know it says like, oh, it's a high, and then it comes down. Like, no, it was just high, 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 and you could see it on the monitor. Like, the things are just steady, just high up there, the contractions. And I'm like, okay, babe, you got to go get the nurse. Like, I need epidural. Epidural me now. But so I asked for the epidural. The anesthesiologist this time was in a C-section, so I had to wait for him. I'm like, okay, well, we got to figure something out because I can't. Like, this is crazy. And so they gave me fentanyl. And fentanyl, that's scary. Like, they put it into like your IV, just a small dosage. I felt like I was going to pass out. Like, it was so strong. It just hit you as soon as it went in my IV, like the pain stopped. But at the same time, you feel so high. It's crazy. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to judge anybody, but that stuff was crazy. I wouldn't do it again because I just felt like, to the point of like, am I going to come back down? Like, this is crazy. Is the baby okay? Like, this stuff is too strong. Like, and so finally, anesthesiologist came in, the fentanyl wore off, and they did, this time it was a lady, and she put the needle in my back, had a shocking pain down my leg again, but then epidural kicked in like 35-40 minutes, and I was back to heaven. Definitely was back in my element. I knew from now on what we're gonna do. So I guess I was at like 4.5, 5 centimeters. I know it wasn't too far, but at the time, but what happened? So I had the anesthesia. I mean, not the anesthesia. I had the epidural, and at that point we went to sleep. We were so tired. We went to sleep because we knew this time, like, we're not staying up all night again. Like, we're going to sleep, gonna have some rest. And so we did that. But then doctors swarmed in, like, I don't know how many hours later it was, but they all swarmed in. They're like talking, like telling us like, you need to get up. We need to like, basically the baby's heart rate is dropping at a just creasing like rapid pace. and yours is doing something, fluctuating also. So we need to hurry up and get this baby out of here. So the nurse checks, and she's like, oh, well, I feel the baby's head right here, like the baby's ready to go. And me and Devin are like still asleep, like what, wait, we just got the epidural, like how did this happen? Like nobody, I don't remember anybody coming in the room between those couple of hours, like, so I don't know what happened, but me and Devin are like, let's go. They're pushing Devin off to the side. He's like, I'm like, baby, come hold my hand. They're like, he won't let me. Like, they just were worried about the baby's health and my health. So it's getting so dark. But yeah, so, baby was right there, and he was delivered, in 2 pushes in 4 minutes. I don't know about you, but I think I'm a champ. No, but I just was blessed, luckily. I feel like I was just blessed with 2 really healthy and great deliveries. So I'm really just thankful for that. And I hope that the rest of my kids are going to be like that too. Please, please. So yeah, so he was actually born in the sack still. So when he came out, they didn't even put him on my chest barely. Like they said, oh, here's the baby. They broke him out of the sack. And then they said, here's the baby, but he wasn't making any noises. So I guess he's like a pediatric doctor. I'm not sure, but he came and took the baby right away. He's like, I'm sorry, Mom. Took the baby right away and took him to the little table. Devin went over there with the baby while I was getting cleaned up. I didn't have to have any stitches for this second time around. I don't know if I said in the first one, but with Devin, I had 2 stitches. And this time, Deshaun, I didn't have any stitches, which was nice. So they just cleaned me up. And they were sucking like the stuff out of Deshaun's nose and throat. Because like I said, he was born in the sack. So he was still like swallowing the stuff, I guess. So it was taking a little while, but he ended up getting his color and everything was good. He started breathing and crying. And then he was huge. So little Dev was 6 pounds, 14 ounces, and 20 inches. And Deshaun was 9 pounds, 8 ounces, and 21 inches. So big difference. Deshaun is a big boy for sure. I think Dev would have been the same size as him because at our appointment, like our last appointment, at the appointment that little Dev was born at, is the appointment that Deshaun, at that same appointment for Deshaun, he was about the same. They said he was like 7 pounds. So if he was born early, he probably would have been about the same weight and everything. But yeah, so those were my 2 labor and deliveries. They were nothing too crazy. Like, it was crazy having to be induced and like that process, but luckily, I was able to have great nurses and doctors both deliveries. And Devin knew how to like calm me down the whole time and keep me going and pushing through. It was just a fun time, honestly. Like I just keep wanting to have babies. But yeah, so that was my labor and delivery for Deshaun and Devin. And I'll keep you updated on like the healing process and stuff, one versus the other, in a couple months. But yeah, so if you made it this far, thank you so much. Go ahead and give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment down below of like what your labor and delivery experience was. Was it different for one versus the other? Are you about to have a baby? Let me know in the comments down below. And thank you again so much for tuning in. I'm so excited to keep these videos rolling. Let me know also in the comments some video ideas that you guys want to see, so we can keep the content going. Thank you so much. Have a good one.